We live.
Ooh, we out here.
We out here. Here we go. I gotta run the beginning sequence. We out here.
Hello.
We out here. What's going on, my
What's
love?
the matter, you?
What's the matter, you?
Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday. I almost said Thursday. Sorry. Yeah, because tomorrow I go work out.
Yes,
and I'm trying really hard to be like Tanya, be very disciplined.
I am training for a mini marathon, a half marathon. I don't know why they call it a mini because it's a lot of freaking miles.
Because it's cute. It's mini. It's cute.
So, yeah, my run this morning, it was hard.
How many miles is a mini marathon or a half marathon?
It is 13.1.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm trying to.
You ran that?
No, I haven't ran it yet. I'm trying to run it.
What's the furthest or longest distance you ran so far while training?
3 miles, and then I bump up to 4 on Saturday, and then it like progressively gets
harder,
shittier.
You out here? You are just
it's
fucking
so hot. It's so hard to run right now in Arizona because it's humid and it's hot. It's so gross. But Molly and I did our 3 miles this morning, and then we do 4 on Saturday. Yeah.
How long did it take you to run 3 miles?
I cut 4 minutes off my time.
So look at you. Good. Okay.
I think I was trying to keep up with Molly because she's so fast. She's got little legs, but she moves fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I did it in 35, I think. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
I think it would take me 35 minutes to run 1 mile.
No,
so it's all good.
No, it wouldn't.
It's all good in the hood. You look beautiful today.
Do I? I showered.
You always look beautiful, but you look beautiful.
I showered because I was so sweaty.
That's what I'm talking about. I can't imagine. Like, how early in the morning did you go run this morning? At like 2 in the morning?
No.
That's what I would have done.
Goodness, no. We wake up at 4:30, and we either go to the gym or we go on a run.
We out here. Here.
It's early, but I also go to bed at like 8:30 because I don't have a life. So
well,
it's just the way it goes.
We do this thing called grown-ups, and it's really funny that I'm like happy to be in bed and like watching my show or watching a movie, like falling asleep by like 9 o'clock. Like that makes me so happy in my life.
I know. Seriously, like I was on the couch last night and it was literally 7:45 and I was like, I want to go to sleep.
I want to go
bad. I want to go to sleep so bad.
I want to go night-night. Good.
But I was like, at least wait till 8:30. But I started watching a new show, so I was like, oh, I'll just dive into this.
What'd you watch?
The Summer I Turned Pretty on Amazon.
Okay.
It's so cute.
Is it Paige recommended it to me?
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with it. It's so cute. Well, I finished The Boys, which is the one that you told me to watch. That was like a lot for me to handle.
That is a lot.
But I did it.
Crazy.
But yeah, The Summer I Turned Pretty is so cute. It's so sweet. Oh my gosh. I definitely recommend it.
I love that so much. I love it. So I might have to put that on my lineup.
It's about lifelong friends. And like, it's 3 boys and 1 girl. And it's like the summer that she like got boobs and got cute.
Cute. And they all wanted to do her.
I don't know about that.
Kelly.
No, it's really cute. It's about like friendship and relationship.
That's really cute. I always gotta take it there. I don't know why.
Story of your life.
I'm strange, but anyways, so let me pull up the news bits that I have.
Oh yeah.
I tried
sad news. The news makes me depressed.
Right? It's like, what's the matter, you fucking everybody in the world? We're all it's end days. It's the end of It's the end days. We're on the way out. It's terrible. But I tried to end on like some high notes. So let me pull up my list and let me roll the news. Yeah. That's so pretty. News.
It reminds me of like the MTV, like,
right.
Yeah.
That's back in the day when MTV was actually like not trash.
Fair.
Okay, so first up, which I assume is quite good, is the where the hell is my notes? There they are. The House passed a bill to codify same-sex marriage. So the House of Representatives passed the Respect for Marriage Act in a vote 267 to 157 on Tuesday, yesterday. It's a bill that will codify same-sex marriage nationwide if passed in the Senate. So we don't have to read through everything, but I did see one of the like talking points, or one of the big points was that this would basically, give protections to same-sex marriage, and also interracial marriage was in there.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed that in one of the articles I read, I think it was on like Vox, VOX, it said that people were like caught off guard by how quickly shit was passed through and okayed. So
that's we're expecting the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take that as a good sign. But they did say it still has to pass through the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And I
just get older and older. The men get older and older, so it gets tougher and tougher as you go through.
Seriously. It said that the Democrats have a 50-50 majority in the Senate, and that they would need at least 10 GOP votes to pass it. So, and it also said that in recent trends, a lot of GOP members in the Senate have been more progressive. So, fingers crossed that happens. I had no idea. Did you know what the heck that meant, or what that means? To codify?
Yeah, it's like codify means like to arrange, right?
Yeah. Basically, I literally had to Google it. What does it mean to codify a bill in layman's terms? I was like, it's basically like Wikipedia says it's like the process of collecting and restating the law of a jurisdiction in certain areas. So, I mean, I was just reading it. I'm like, this makes no sense. But in simple terms, codify means to enshrine a right or rule into a formal, systematic code.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that would mean that it would be like a federal code or law.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Supreme Court's a bunch of fucking dipshits. We're like, no, you got to codify. Isn't that what we should try to do? Is codify body autonomy and abortion rights? And isn't that something we should be doing too?
You
would think.
You would think.
I mean, I'm glad to see that they try to like cut this off at the pass, and they're like, oh, hey, we know which way you're going. You're not going this way. So I appreciate that. But I'm like, can we go back a little bit and just fix it? So back to weather. There was an article I read. It's so hot in Europe that roads are literally buckling. I was like, oh, that's
I did hear that.
Great. That's great. So they're baking under the extreme heat. It's causing train tracks to bend and roads to buckle, which I understand that metro transit in the Europe is very important. Like, people ride the trains everywhere. There are people in the world, I guess, who don't even have a car. They just cruise.
Yeah.
Which, happens. But it's so foreign to me, like, how you don't have a car, like, you can't just get in a car and drive. But, that's kind of a big deal. They might need to nudge America to be like, hey, we're burning because you guys are fucking idiots and don't believe in global warming. So,
yes, we are.
Oh God,
we are idiots.
Yes, we are. All right, I don't need to go any more on that because you know all about the heat.
Arizona, baby.
You're
we are burning off of the map.
Yeah, literally. Like what was the highest temperature today in Phoenix?
The high today was 109, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Which is not that bad, but we've been having monsoons, which is the devil's rain. So
yeah, it's fine. It'd be nice if the monsoons like cooled it off for a while.
It doesn't do that. No.
You know, you just feel like you're in Texas then when that happens because it's humid.
Yeah, it gets so gross here just during July and August. So hopefully we're almost done.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Speaking of heat, we just had to pay $400 to get our air conditioner fixed, so that was fun.
That is fun.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. It wasn't it the other 2 nights ago. I heard the air conditioner and it sounded like a fucking cat screeching, like, and I said, "That's not good. That's not a good sign. That's not great. That's not great." And I told Darnell, and he was like, "Well, you know, call the people." And it was still blowing cold air, so of course I procrastinated because I'm a fucking moron. And
don't mess around with that air.
You can't. And yesterday it was so hot. Like I came home from working out, and I know I was hot and sweaty already, and I was meal prepping, and I was trying to be good, and so I was just like dripping sweat in the house. But I was like, it's so fucking hot in here. I cannot handle it. I can't. Luckily, you know, I threw a fit last year and I bought the window air conditioners for me and Ivy's room. So we were cool up here, but downstairs it was fucking miserable.
Oh my God.
So the guy, air conditioner guy came out today and he replaced, I guess it was like the compressor.
Something.
The capacitor
some type of thing
broken and it was making something overheat. And then the guy was like, you know, that sound, because it's still kind of making a sound. He's like, that heat makes everything warp. And if it doesn't go away, you know, that could be a bad sign. It's on the way out. And I was like, oh, great. Sweet.
Which is, you know, $6,000 or whatever.
Just, you know, we literally, do you remember? We literally had just bought a brand new air conditioner at Shenandoah. Like,
yeah,
a couple of weeks, maybe a month before the fire. I was like, and it was through that company. I was like, oh shit, let's not go down that route, okay? Let's just pretend. So come crazy. On, baby. Well, that's enough on the weather for now because I don't like it. Did you see the article I sent you or the snippet? It's a U.S. flyer tracked his lost luggage back to London and was told by American Airlines to go pick it up from the airport, even though he was 4,000 miles away in North Carolina.
Oh my God. It is wild in these streets.
Like, I would have probably gotten so ignorant the second they told me, well, go pick it up. Bitch, how? Give me a free flight.
Insane. I have only experienced the luggage issue once. And it's when I was like stuck at DFW.
Yeah.
And our bags, like everything was canceled, like flights were pushed, all this stuff. And then we finally got to Arizona. It was 2 a.m. and they were like, yeah, your bags are still in Texas. And
yeah.
Like, what do we do? You know, and luckily like they just bring your bags to you whenever they get there. But you had to wait 2 days. It's just crazy.
That's wild.
How planes work.
That's wild. It's crazy to me.
How flights work.
It's crazy how modern travel works. Yeah. I don't understand. I was watching this documentary on Netflix last night about D.B. Cooper, who was like one of the most infamous plane robbers of all time in the 60s. And he was on a flight in like Portland or somewhere up there. And he he basically wrote a note to the stewardess. It was like, I have a bomb in this bag next to me. I want this amount of money, and I want a parachute, 4 parachutes. And he gave them all sorts of like crazy instructions and made them go to a certain airport. They had called the police, and the police agreed to like bring the money. You let the passengers go, and he got the money. The stewardess had to stay on the plane, and the pilots had to take off. And he was, still in control, still holding them hostage. And like a little ways after they got back in the air, he was like, okay, go to the front of the cabin with the pilot. And he went to the back, opened the door, and jumped out, and nobody ever found him. And so this Netflix documentary was talking about it and how they, conspiracy theorists think that they have him and he's alive still and yada, yada, yada. But I was like, this shit's wild.
That is insane.
And they were talking about how, like, back in the day, in the 70s, I guess it was, late 60s or 70s, like, what security? They didn't have, it was, you would go to the airport. He said you could go to the airport, throw down a $20 bill, and fly to New York from California. Like, there was no...
Now, if you go to the airport and try to book any type of flight the same day, they'll look at you and laugh. Like,
they will literally be like, I'm sorry.
I know, like, all of, like, the rom-coms, and they, like, run through the airport, and they're like, give me a flight to
or they just...
Idaho.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck? Who does that?
Or they just run through security like, I have to go get my man. He's getting on the plane. And, like, how did you not get tackled and tased and shot? Like, truly.
Don't ask me.
Truly.
Oh my god.
Oh my gatos. So yeah, that's fucking crazy. Speaking of airports and travel. Now this is where I was trying to find news that was a little bit lighter and a little bit not Wassamattayou, because the world's gone
there's
to shit.
A lot.
There's a lot, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Not today. So have you seen the photos of Brad Pitt wearing a skirt for the opening of Bullet Train? It was in, gosh, I don't remember where. I think it was like Prague or something. It was overseas, and Brad Pitt was wearing a linen skirt, kind of looked like a black kilt, with a salmon pink linen button-down shirt and like a linen black overcoat. And let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck what he's wearing.
Oh,
he could get it. He could get it 10 ways to Sunday. I don't give a shit.
I'm not even attracted to his type, but damn, he has some good genes.
Shit,
long hair, short hair, beard, no beard. Oh,
yes, blonde hair, dark hair,
every day and 3 times on Sunday.
Seriously, like he looked gorgeous, and he was wearing like combat boots or like Timberlands with them or Doc Martens or something. I was like, that's a
probably
a serve.
Timberlands.
I was like, yeah, probably not, probably not, but.
Just to throw that out there.
He looked cute, and everybody was talking about it on the internet, like, oh my god, he's wearing a skirt. And this article I was reading, they were like, did y'all forget that in 1999, he, like, during the promotion of Fight Club, which is such a machismo, toxic masculinity movie, he did a photo shoot. He did like a full-on spread for Rolling Stone magazine, and he wore 5 dresses.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Harry Styles got it from him, and I don't give a shit. He could wear a dress to bed if he wanted to. Just come to me. Mm-hmm.
Just a little moo-moo to get the day started.
It's totally fine. It reminds me a little moo-moo. A sleeping gown. Yeah. My best to Bob Cratchit. Like on Schitt's Creek, the sleeping gown.
Oh my god.
My mom put me on some hot goss. Did you know that J-Lo and Ben got married?
I did, of course. I love a good J-Lo story.
I do too. I don't know how this one slipped by, and I didn't know it.
Oh, but, yeah. Well, it was like a secret wedding. They just announced it, like, I think yesterday that they got married. But
yeah.
I mean, sometimes you let things go and they come back. J-Lo.
True. Truly.
Jenny from the block.
Jenny from the block. I mean,
I hope they're happy. I mean, she's been,
yeah.
Ugh.
You know, you can tell she just loves love. Yeah, she's been through it.
She's definitely someone who like cannot be alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I think that they're adorable. I was totally going through like her Instagram photos and stuff, and she had posted like a Happy Father's Day video to Ben, and one of them was like a candid shot. He was sitting at a desk looking at his phone, and he looked up at her like, "Oh shit, you're filming me." He had the biggest smile on his face, like
Aww.
He looks so happy. So
cute.
I hope nothing but the best for those two, because it makes my heart happy. Sometimes you let it go.
I love love.
And they come back. Yeah. I love love.
It just wasn't their time when they were together the first time.
Right. She needed to go off.
It wasn't their story yet.
It wasn't their it wasn't their that journey was not theirs yet. I love that for you.
Yeah.
So that's great. I think that's cute. And then let's see. The new trailer for I know one of your favorite series, the Halloween movies. The new trailer for Halloween Ends.
I have not watched it. I would probably have a heart attack and die. I hope it's as scary as like the ones from the back in the days. But yeah, I am scared.
Honestly, well, you know us. Like we went and saw it in theaters the two before this, and I mean, it was scary. It was scary, but it nothing matches the fear that you have when you're little and you watch the first ones.
I didn't even know that there was.
Yeah, this is like a
I didn't know that there were two before this.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's a trilogy.
Oh
they called it a trilogy of sequels. Let me see what. So this one is.
I went and saw the Nightmare, on. The one with Freddy Krueger, like the remake of that one, and that one was terrifying.
Yeah, I mean they're all terrifying. Truly, I know that it would scare the bejesus out of you, so I'm not gonna make you watch it with me. But you know, maybe
I would watch it, but I wouldn't cover my eyes because I'm a child.
Yeah, but that's okay. But yeah, this is in 2018. They came out with Halloween, and that brought Jamie Lee Curtis back, and then. 2021 last year they had Halloween Kills. Jamie Lee Curtis was in that as well, and this is the last of the trilogy, and it's called Halloween Ends. So I'm excited. The trailer shows Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers getting into a tussle, so I hope she just fucking gets it done this time. It's been like 50 years. It's about time.
Oh my
gosh. It's the best. But we already talked a little bit about the House of Dragons trailer. And that's a prequel to Game of Thrones, yeah?
Yeah, I'm like excited, but I'm also like, are we going to overdo it?
Yeah.
Like I'm excited. I think that, are we done? Like, yeah. Are we done with this? But no, they're going to do it. I mean, maybe it'll be fantastic. And I'm just, but I'm like, sometimes they just go too far.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just have it end.
Yeah. Truly like, I think it's okay. We're good.
So funny.
Well, that's coming out in a month on August 21st. So that's going to be another weekly show for me to watch.
Thank God, because you don't have enough.
I don't have enough to do and enough to watch. So, you know me. And then the last bit of news was I'm just so happy. You brought up The Boys earlier. I'm just so happy that the rest of the world is joining with the supernatural fandom of freaks. And
he's so good in The Boys.
He's amazing.
He is funny and sarcastic and mean and just like sexy. Love him.
Yeah, he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Truly, he's amazing. Yes. I love him so much. He makes my heart happy. And I guess I'm just used to seeing like my For You page and my timeline on everything just supernatural fandom stuff. So I always get the updates and everything, but now everybody else in the world is like, oh shit, did you know about him?
I know you were like, when I was watching the first season, and you were like, oh, have you seen him yet? And I was like, I don't think he's in it yet. I didn't realize there were 3 seasons, so I was just binging forever.
Yeah, and The Boys is good. I was like put off by it at first. I didn't even watch it, but I was
it's
like,
a little hard to watch. Some parts of it is pretty hard.
Yeah, they don't pull many punches. They kind of put it all out there, which
they put everything.
And when dude had to eat the fucking octopus that was his friend.
Oh my god, I told the children I don't like.
I had to fast forward. I was like, I can't watch this. I can't watch this scene.
The sea stuff was very strange.
Yeah.
I was like, I do not like this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that everybody else is now on the Jensen Ackles train if they weren't already.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about some friendship shit?
I do.
Let's do it.
I do.
Ba-bam. Friendships. Going through stages of life together. Meow.
That's what it is. I know. We always talk about this, our friendship. So we thought it'd be good to share.
To share it with the world.
Share our thoughts. Yeah.
Did you know that International Friendship Day is July 30th?
I did not know that, but I saw that.
I'm very excited. You'll be here so we can high five each other.
I will.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
I'm very excited. So I looked up what the definition of friendship was. Per Webster's dictionary, it's the emotions or conduct of friends. The state of being friends, which annoys me when they put the word they're defining in the definition. Like, come up with something else. It's a state of mutual trust and support between allied nations or people. So that's good. What do you think? What do you think about friends? What type of friends there are and stuff like that?
Friends are, it's so funny to talk about friendship because you're just like, yeah, I just like picked this human out of a lineup and like, hey, can you be my friend?
Right.
And that person's just with you like forever, right? Like,
seriously.
When we talk about like how we met, right? Like you reached out to me on MySpace before I went to college and you were like, you're going to be playing softball with me. And I was like, okay, like this is now someone who's in my life, like a friend, right? And it's so interesting how we've grown together and like separately. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who have known each other as long as we have that are no longer friends, right? Like I've lost friends throughout the years. I've gained friends over the years, but you and I have just always been really consistent. So yeah, it's interesting. And there were times where we weren't as close too, right? Like, I think like there were times that we just like didn't talk and then we would see each other and everything would be like, nothing has changed.
Yep.
But there are people that just fall off and like, you just don't ever talk again. So it's just interesting, like growing up and like growing apart sometimes.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's kind of crazy. Like I can't pinpoint anything truly. Like there was not in my mind, there was not like a single occurrence. There was not like a single day or a trauma or a activity that we did that like grew us together. We just clicked.
Yeah.
And
kindred spirits.
We're kindred spirit. What is it that Megan Fox says? We're kindred flames or something.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
I know, but it is because you like I think I maybe talked to one person from when I was like in 2nd grade, right? Like Lindsay and I, like we don't barely talk, but we were best friends in the 7th grade. We grew up together and then we went to different high schools and then she moved out of the state. Same thing. And then like, but we would always like, every time we saw each other, it was always like, we never separated. Right. And then I ended up being in her first wedding.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because I like hadn't seen her in so long, and she's like, I really want you to sit next to me. And I was like, that's insane. But that's like the really only person that I, even from like back in the day, right? And even
Yeah.
like I didn't really have friends in high school, but like I don't talk to anybody from high school. I was not even like a human in high school, right? Like, but then in college, like you meet these people and like you form this bond, and like you either continue and grow together or you grow apart because you're still figuring yourself out. You're like trying to figure out who you are, what you want to do, and like how this person fits into your life.
Yeah.
And yeah, they become friends, like lifetime friends, or they become people just to teach you a lesson, which I've had a lot of those
Right.
too.
Yeah. I think that's very true. And you and I are very similar at that. Like, I I had friends growing up. I was very close with a couple of different girls growing up, but then once I hit like middle school or high school, I was like best friends with my softball team, and that was it. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was a solid 10 of us who were always together, always 24/7, and then boyfriends started happening, and I remember me especially. I was like, I went ghost on him because I had a boyfriend and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't manage my time between the two, and I didn't really want to. And I remember I got so upset when they were like, "You're choosing him over us." I was like, "Fuck you, no, I'm not." But I basically was. So like the strangest thing that ever happened to me was my friends that I was so close to growing up, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade. Some of them were like the bad girls,
Mm-hmm.
and we fell off. We really didn't talk in high school. On my graduation day, instead of me sitting with the 5 other girls that I had been thugging it out on the softball team with them for 4 years, I sat with
So yeah.
the bad girls who I'd known since second grade. Like,
Interesting.
and I just didn't feel comfortable sitting with the softball team. I was projecting a lot of shit on them. Like
Yeah.
I got a scholarship. I'm going to play softball. I left my junior year of high school, went to Phoenix, played down there
Yeah.
during a summer. Like I couldn't handle that. But yeah, like it was an out of body experience for me that I could not feel comfortable sitting with them. I went and sat with
Mm-hmm.
the girls who I didn't talk to for years, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just wild. Um, so I looked up as well. I did a little bit of research. Aristotle, I was like, okay, what is friendship like? What is a friendship? What kind of friendships are there? Aristotle classified 3 friendships: friendship of utility. Um, it's people are on friendly terms, mainly due to the benefits each other brings to the table, like business partners, colleagues, teammates,
Mm-hmm.
roommates, whatever, schoolmates. Um, there's a friendship of pleasure, which are those where people find each other because of the enjoyment it brings. So laughing, hobbies, common interests, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
And then friendships of the good, he said, are most important to us among the 3 types of friendships. These are based upon respect, appreciation, and for each other's qualities, and a strong will to aid and assist the other person. Um, so, and you, oh, sorry, assist the other person because one recognizes their greatness. So, um, I definitely feel like we went through these 3 phases quite quickly, or these 3 types of friendships quite quickly. Um, and we were truly only at the CAC together for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like
Yeah. I
within
mean, we
weeks.
definitely started in the friendships of utility, right? Like I needed you
Mm-hmm.
because you brought something to the table for me. Like you knew people at the school, and I was like, yeah, I need to be her friend because she's the only one reaching out to me, and I
Mm-hmm.
need someone to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that probably for like the first 2 weeks, and then
Yeah.
we got to that friendship of pleasure where it was like, you make me laugh, like I can talk to you. You're very seasoned in life, where I was not seasoned in life.
Season
I
in
was
life.
very sheltered in life, and you had experienced lots of things. So I was like leaning on you to teach me stuff. And I was definitely using that for pleasure. And then we became friendships, you know, of the good. And
Yeah.
I really only wanted the best for you. And we just grew and grew and grew together. And now here we are 17 years later.
Yeah. And I think it helps too because I agree. We definitely start out with the utility because you're a teammate of mine. I really wanted to get to know you, help you feel a part of the team because I was like a loudmouth leader. Even though I didn't lead on the field, I led with my mouth. So
Other things.
but but I truly believe that. And then it became like, oh, she's funny as shit. Like, I like her. She's silly. She's goofy. She laughs at me. She thinks I'm cool. This is great. And then truly it became like, I can't go a day without talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Good. Okay. Yep. And then talk to you tomorrow. So that's definitely like, and I did some more looking about like a BuzzFeed article. It popped up on my Facebook on Monday, and I was like, oh, this is fucking perfect. Or Tuesday, whenever I did this. It said that there are 7 types of friends, and which ones are, and these are the most essential to your happiness. Sorry. I almost clicked the button. So so it listed lifelong friends, best friends, close friends, social group friends, activity friends, friends of convenience, and acquaintance friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I went from 0 to 60 real quick. We ran through those like I reached out to you on MySpace. Acquaintance.
Well, that's so funny because like people, that's how a friendship is, right? It should be like super fast because you don't want people in your life that are not going to support you and get to that stage, right? Like,
yeah,
and it's funny, like as you're reading this, I'm like thinking about like my different friend groups, like in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely have like a social friend group. I have like my friends for convenience, which is hard to like think like, oh shit, I do have friends for convenience.
Yeah.
But, or like the social group friend where like I have this group of friends where like we only see each other like once every couple months, but every time we're together, we have so much fun.
Yeah.
Like we just go to dinner, catch up, say, hey, we all love each other so much. And then we don't see each other for like another 6 months. Yeah. But it's like, just like that social group that like, we're all like, they're all introverts. We just want to be alone.
Yeah.
Right. But we love each other and we support each other. And like, those are great friends to have. Right. Like just somebody that's like there. But it's funny, like going through the list and seeing like your acquaintance friends are the ones at work. Cause you're like, I do love them, but like, I also could like not be around them. It'll be fine. Cause they're just like there. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the close friends, the best friends, and the lifelong friends, like the top 3. It's crazy how someone can go from like a best friend to like
a friend
of convenience or like an acquaintance, right? Like, or someone can go from like who you thought was a lifelong friend to like a nothing.
Yeah, truly. That I agree 100%. And thinking about it, like the different types of friends, like definitely acquaintance friends. I have some acquaintances at work. I have some acquaintances through the kids, parents and stuff. And then like friends of convenience, like sports moms or parents like me, who we have a great time and we cut up when we're at the games. But I don't like text them and I don't call them to like go hang out. Not like I don't like them. It's just, I like that circle where it is. I don't want to miss. Activity friends, I'm sure I definitely had a lot back in the day. Not so much.
You don't have activities anymore.
I don't have any activities anymore, except for now I'm trying to go work out. So there we go. I have one activity friend who's a coworker. So there we go. And then social groups, which is funny to me because growing up, I always thought like I never had like one true best friend, like that one best
Same.
friend, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I had really good friends, like two really good friends throughout the years. But it wasn't until like you, and it was really when I went to West Texas and you and I were texting all the time, that I was like, okay, she is my best friend. Like, I will go to jail for her.
Well, and
These
it's
other
funny because
ones,
like you have like I just totally lost my train of thought. But you have like those friends that I've always been like a good friend to people, but I never had a good friend, right? Like even in high school, I always tried really hard to be a good friend to people, but it was not reciprocated.
Right.
And when it's not reciprocated, you feel so defeated and you don't want to have the friends, right? So like when you and I met, and we had a lot of friends like in our little friend group in college, but it was always just like me and you and then another friend, and we just kind of like, you know, meshed. And then it was like you and I just continued to grow together. Even like after your wedding and after the kids, like we grew together at the same time. Like a lot of times people have kids
and you don't.
becomes really different, right? Like your relationship is different. But I don't know, maybe it's because you had them a little bit younger. Like we were able to like experience that together. But yeah, it's so interesting. Like when you are a good friend and then like someone reciprocates it back, like you literally are lifelong.
Yeah, truly forever. We peas and carrots. And I think honestly, like all of this, I think about these people who I have had in these categories in the past, like some of my friends who I thought were lifelong friends, and still to this day, I truly do think that they are lifelong friends, but they're not my best friend. I don't talk to them daily. If I saw them, that would make me so happy. But it and that just brings me to this last little section of research that I was doing about the stages of friendship. Like you said, we grew together. We went from 0 to 100 real quick in the type of friendships that we had to each other, and then we went from, you know, the number 7 bucket to the number 1 bucket, from an acquaintance to a lifelong friend real quick. And then it talks about, I looked up, and this was actually like, I ended up on like a textbook page for a sociology group. I had no idea where I was, but I was loving what I was reading. But basically this whole article that I read was talking about the stages of friendship, the roles of friendship. And there's like the first role, which is the limited interaction. So it's basically when you have an acquaintance or a friend of convenience. You sit down in class, or you have a teammate you just met, and you sit down in the dugout and you, oh hey, I like, you know, blah blah blah, and you just kind of small talk it. That's what this article is saying, is that delimited interaction is small talk with somebody. The next step was friendly relations. So same example, you meet a teammate, you make small talk in the dugout, and then it's like, hey, you want to come like to my dorm room and like, I don't know, hang out and watch a movie? That's the next step up. So that obviously you become a friendly relation, you start to interact and learn more about that person. And then we've got the stage of friendship. It's moving towards friendship. And that's when people start to kind of see you as a couple of friends. So like, oh, well, Kelly and Tanya seem to be getting along really well. Where's Kelly? Oh, she's probably with Tanya. That kind of deal. Also, that also kind of intertwines very much with this other stage called nascent friendship. And that's really when it's like, okay, this is my friend. This is my friend. We're always together. It is what it is. And even there was an interesting point that I read, that in the nascent friendship, it's when you really start to, you can feel betrayed and jealous if someone else is brought into the friend group, or you know, this friendship
that's evolves. Happened with us.
Oh yeah. definitely.
I mean, not like yeah.
Right. But yeah, I definitely agree it has. I don't think that we got jealous.
Yeah.
But people got jealous of us. So it happens. Sorry, not sorry, but it happens. I mean, that's another thing too. I'm probably a shitty friend, so I'm like, whatever. Okay, bye.
Doesn't make you a shitty friend. It makes us grown-ups.
Touche.
We ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Nobody got time for that bullshit anymore.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit. The next stage is stabilized friendship. So obviously, if you've got a good active friendship going on, you are communicating, you are comfortable, you don't necessarily feel threatened or jealous of other people getting your friend's attention. You feel comfortable in yourself in that role. Then there is the waning friendship. And that's, when somebody does something or something happens, possibly, or time passes and you may look at someone differently. Like maybe they hooked up with your ex, or maybe they said something about you and you found out about it. Maybe, maybe they got crunk in your face because they got drunk one night and it just sticks in your mind. Stuff like that. Like that can be a waning friendship, which unfortunately leads to a post friendship, which is the last stage of friendship. That's when you definitely go from a friend to basically just an acquaintance, someone that you used to know. What does it make you feel when you hear about those stages?
Yeah, I think that it's 100% accurate. I mean, like I've gone through these stages with someone that I thought was a lifelong friend.
Yeah.
Which is like the hardest thing is like when you get to that like waning stage and something really dramatic happens and you have to make the decision on whether you stay or you go. It's just like in a relationship, right? Like you don't want to be in a negative situation. You don't want to feel like you're being manipulated. You, in my situation, like I was lied to, I was being used, I was being manipulated, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then of course, like you have that guilty feeling where like, no, like I just have to stay their friend because they're my friend.
Yeah.
Like that's just like I have to be in this relationship because it's mine. And I made the decision to walk away, and it was honestly the best decision I ever made, right? Like I realized after the fact, of course, after a little therapy,
right? A little
bit of working through my issues, that I was like being manipulated and I was being used, and I was supposed to just take it, and I decided not to. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never felt like more relaxed or like, like at ease with the decision. And it sucked because like we went back and forth for years, me and this girl. Like she wanted me to apologize to her, like all this kind of stuff. And it was wild, but eventually like we, just squash it and we move on. But I think that like a lot of people go through that waning stage, but they don't know how to handle like the post, because it's like, how are you just supposed to leave after a friendship? A friendship is way different than like an actual relationship, because you can just like end it with another, with whoever, and it sucks and it's hard. But like a friendship is like somebody I feel is always like deeper than, which is so funny to say, like my soulmate is Kelly.
Right. No, 100%.
My soulmate is like my roommate Molly. Like my soulmate is like my sister. Like I wouldn't even think like I have a soulmate. Like that's a guy, right?
Right.
Like, so to think
100.
like moving from like a fight or anything like that and going into like a post friendship place is so hard, because like I know like my soulmates are like people in my life who I don't think I'd be able to leave.
Yeah.
But a boy,
Yeah, well, for real, like it'd be painful, it'd be hard, but truly, I agree. Like Darnell, I love him to death. He's loved my life. He's not my soulmate.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah. Like, you know how some people are like, I married my best friend. No.
That's fantastic.
He's wonderful. He's a great, good friend. I love him so much. He's loved my life. I would literally take a bullet for him. My best friend who knows my ins and outs and my ticks and my problems and my hopes and dreams is Tanya.
Yeah. And it's hard because like the people who say that their husband is their best friend, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And congratulations on that. But you also don't have any real girlfriends who have been there and been super supportive. But that is because women typically cannot get along with each other when they're older.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Which is
just
wild.
Like,
it's
I love,
wild to me.
like love my girls, but like,
yeah,
they a lot of times, like when you are in your 30s or 40s, like you start losing more and more girlfriends because women just don't get along anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why you see so many like couple friends that are close that like the women hate each other, but all the men get along or whatever it is.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, it's just because women can't get along with women when they're older. And that's like crazy. But we've always been trained to like go with your man. Like you're with your man. Like go with him. But yeah, it's really interesting. And that's why people are so confused, like, oh, like you're not in a relationship. And you have all these like friends, like, don't you want to be in a relationship? And I was like, I don't want to give my friends to be in a relationship. Yeah. That sounds silly to me and sounds boring.
And truly, we shouldn't have to give up our friends to be in a relationship.
But it does happen, right? Like
it happens.
You 100%. Become so invested in your relationship that you do forget about your friends. And I've always like been in my mind, like, I will never be that person. And I don't think I ever have, but I'm like, I will always go and like visit my friends, and I will always go and see my friends. And when I'm in a relationship, the people who reciprocate my actions, I will make an effort to always include them.
Right.
But it's the same thing when people have kids, like you become a different person when you have kids, and that's great. Like you're evolving into like a mom now, and that's fantastic. But you do end up like losing a lot of friends because your priorities are different. Your priorities are your family and your children and your husband, and that's fantastic. But you do end up like drifting away from people, and it's no one's fault. It could be someone's fault, but typically it's no one's fault. And you just kind of do move, away from each other. Like I have so much love for them, and I wish them the best, but we're not in the same stage of life. And I'm not gonna, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. Like we have drifted. We're always going to be friends. But it's hard to go through that. And that's like that's something that's not talked about in the article. It's like the post friendship thing when it's
happening,
when no one's done anything. There wasn't a big argument. There wasn't a fight. There wasn't a blow up. There wasn't anything. It was just like we grew apart. And now it's like a post friendship feeling, which is really, really hard.
It is very hard. I think thinking about that is like I had to like straight up grieve a couple of friendships that I thought were lifelong in college. I thought that they were my ace spoons from number one, and just life happened. One of them didn't like how Darnell and I responded to her basically wanting to have a complete stranger come and pick her up from her house one night to go out. Some guy she had just met, and Darnell was one who was like, no, we got kids here. You're not bringing some random man to our house to pick you up. Are you fucking crazy? No.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, I'm going to go with him. And I was like, no, you're not. Because who would have to call your mom is me. And I'm not doing that shit. So ever since then, like, I truly was like tore up about that friendship ending. And really like, that was the catalyst to it. But we had been growing apart for so long, and she was in such a different space than I was. Even though I was still having all the FOMO and wanted to go out and wanted to do this and that, I had Evan and I had Darnell, and I had to work and get my shit together. So,
well, it's crazy. It's something that my therapist told me when I was going through a lot of this like old stuff with my friend, and he was like, did you get a chance to mourn? And I was like, that's a stupid question,
right? Like,
like, no. And he was like, well, have you ever had anyone like abruptly leave your life? Like not in a death, like no, they didn't die, but like they abruptly left your life. And
they just peaced out.
Yeah, we started talking about like my sister and my mom and like, things that have happened. And he was like, yeah, did you mourn? And I was like, no, they didn't die.
Right.
Like they just left. And he was like, right. But like, that's them just leaving, like you never seeing them again is that feeling of like, I need to figure out like how to live without them.
Yeah.
And it's something that like you don't think about when you lose people in your life, like not losing them in a death, but losing them as a friend or a lover or whoever else. Like you have to have those emotions, and you have to have. It is a feeling of like them, like mourning them. Right?
Truly, yeah.
And
you have to grieve it.
After he said it, I was like, damn.
Right? Like shit, my guy.
But it is true, right? Like my old friend that we stopped being friends, she's one of my best friends, and I was like, I didn't mourn her, and I think that's why for like 5 years I was so
yeah.
You know, but it's true. Like if you lose a friend, not by death, but like they just leave, it's like you have to figure out
how to live without
them.
Yeah.
Because they're a crutch for you, right? Like you lean on them when you need something, you call them when you're upset. And like if you don't do that, like it's emotional for you.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard when you choose to, when you click with someone and then you choose to like continue that friendship through college and out of college, and then either some shit happens or shit doesn't happen. You just grow apart.
Shit doesn't happen. Yeah.
That's probably the hardest thing. I can't explain that to them. I can't explain it to her.
It's like, you know, like we're just
truly like, and I can't blame it. I in the back of my mind this whole time, I'm thinking like, well, Tanya and I are pretty much on the same page with most common issues, political wise, and you know, moral wise, and
we have a basic understanding of human decency.
Pretty much how we view it. And the other one that you know I'm talking about doesn't quite stand so firmly, first of all, in her beliefs, and second of all, they are the opposite of ours now. And you know, that was a big turn off. I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with you. But that wasn't the reason why I pushed away. And I didn't think I pushed away. I just, you can't constantly try to keep someone in your life and them just, I mean, if you don't like,
well, and we're at the point where like you don't need to, right? Like we're old enough to understand that we can have different beliefs.
Yeah,
that's okay. However, I'm not okay with it, and I don't need to put myself in a situation where I'm consistently uncomfortable.
Yeah, truly. Truly, I think I got out of that because I'm so far away. But I mean, truly, like I just, you know, it makes me think of both of those girls. You know who I'm talking about. I used to text them and you the same time every day. That was my thing. I always want to reach out to my best friends every day. Hey, good morning. How are you? And one of them was like, can you not text me this early? I was like, sure, no problem. And then I try and do it later on, like at lunch, and I would get no response. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? If you want to talk, you can talk. That's cool. I'm going to quit. And then the other one I would text and would get no response. And I would text and get no response. But then I would hear that they were jealous that I'm texting you and you're coming to see me. But they don't answer my text. So,
yeah.
But
everyone always wants to be included, but they don't attend.
Yeah.
And that is like the reciprocation part, right? Like you always want to be included. You always want to be invited. You always want to be involved. And then we're at this point again, like we are not young spring chickens anymore. We're
too old for that.
I don't need to invite you. I don't need, you know, your approval to go and see somebody. Like if you want to go and see somebody, you can go see them. We're adults. We got the money now. We didn't have the money back then. I made it work somehow, but like you can do it. And if you don't want to, then don't. But it gets to that point where if it's not reciprocated, and it's like it's definitely a positivity thing, right? Like you and I have our issues.
Of course.
Up here in the mental.
You know.
But we have both done the work to get better.
Yeah.
And we go to therapy and we, you know, we're on our fun medicine and whatever it is. And we have our bad days and we talk through them and we change our mindset. And it's really hard for people who aren't in therapy to like do that.
Yeah.
But it's like if I text you and you're consistently like, oh,
that's so terrible.
It's so hard. It's so hard for me to be like, I'm like, oh, what's okay? Like, you got this, like, whatever. Like, you know, trying to like be supportive. And then it's just like a consistent, like, negative snowball.
Yeah.
And it makes me like not ever want to talk again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oof, like I am dealing with everything too, right? Like everyone has their emotions.
Yeah.
But it's like it can't be every time I talk to you.
No. And it's just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting because the one time that you do have a mental breakdown and do need to talk to someone, and I'm at my fucking wit's end and I'm about to like throw my head through a wall. If I'm texting you or calling you, don't fucking try and one up me. Oh my god, at least you da 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 da. I can't even. Yeah. Girl, bye.
I hate that. Like, at least, and sometimes like that's why it's important to have those like best friends, lifelong friends, because I know when you need to just vent.
Yeah.
And then I know like when you're looking for advice.
Yeah.
Like there are some times where I just need to fucking get it off my chest.
Yeah. For real. Like, I love it.
I hate everyone and I need to say it.
The world is ending. It's all good. Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay. You're like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine now. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. I do remember in college that was like a big thing for us, is like, I need to vent. We would send that like warning text and then like,
and like don't say anything for 5 minutes.
Right. This is what happened. And I'm not trying to like interject and like fix you. I'm just listening like, damn, Gina, like for real?
So I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then people think you're not listening, but I'm like, no, I just know that you need to vent right now. And like, I know you want some type of response, but I just like, I'm not going to give you advice because you don't need it.
No,
it's just like you just need to yell at it, out.
Yeah, you just need to work it out. That's totally fine. Yeah, I agree. I did write down a couple of questions that we actually have already kind of gone through. Like, what is your definition of friendship? And I think we both agreed. It's someone that you can talk to and trust and grow with and have fun with and be stupid and vent and just live your life with, basically. What makes a good friend or a good friendship? We kind of talked about that, but what do you think makes a good friend?
So I think it's somebody who's like supportive of your decisions, even if you don't agree. Or approve of them. It's like realizing that it's their life and they need to figure things out on their own. It's somebody who knows the difference between venting and advice. It's someone who shows up mostly. It's someone who is consistent in your life when consistency is not a thing nowadays. And I think that's like the most important, is like someone who's consistently in your life and like showing up for you. Like whenever you need me, I'll show up. Whenever I need you, you'll show up. And I don't even need you to do anything. I just need you to like be on the phone or be on a text or be next door. I don't know, whatever the thing is. But like, I want to always be the person who's there and who shows up, because that's the consistency that people need in their lives right now. Like, too many people are way too flaky.
Truly. And I think
lose interest way too fast.
They're like, deuces, gotta go. Like, what the fuck? I agree. It's someone that nowadays, now that we're older and more mature and have some miles on our wheels, we understand when you need to vent. We understand when you're asking for reassurance or a positive affirmation or, advice even, or just want to listen or talk. But I think that the biggest thing for me is showing up, whether it be texting every day or once a week or whatever, just showing up, just making the effort to be.
Like, really important for people to know, like, you shouldn't just be there when I'm having a bad day. It's like you have to be there for the good days, and I shouldn't even have to tell you to show up today.
Dean did you want to talk too?
Yes, he wants to party, but it is somebody who's just like, you got to show up for the good times and the bad times. Like, there's no question about it. Like, I shouldn't have to be like, I need you to come here today because I'm having a really good day. And he's like, oh, celebrate me, bitch, when I just been good.
Right? Like,
I shouldn't have to ask for it. You should be like, yes, queen, I love it for you.
I agree. Positivity too is just be a positive person, man. Be happy. We all have our
Some
shit
people
days.
can't,
We all
and
have our
that's
fucking
okay.
issues.
But at least be supportive.
Yeah. At least be supportive and be there. I mean, goddamn.
Wait.
Okay. How many best friends do you think is normal? Like a number for our age? We're in our 30s. I'm in my late 30s.
It's like I'm going to be different than other people for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say like best friends, like I would say I have 3 lifelong best friends that I can count on and go to for anything, for any reason at any point in time. I probably have 5 people in general, like in total, that I would call like a lifelong friend, but also like they're not the top 3 that I would like continuously talk to every day, right? Like I would say like between any more than 5 is like way too much.
Yeah.
But like 5 that are like that top 3 bucket of like best friend, lifelong friend, close friend, like I think I would like 5 is like a good number.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because I definitely have, you know, like my top 2. And then, yeah. Who was, remember in MySpace when you had, or was it Facebook back then? It wasn't MySpace. We had the top 10. Oh my God, the top 8. He took me off of his top 8. I'm his number 7.
Like I was number 3. It was really damaging.
It was damaging. That was back in the good old days, man.
Oh my God.
Holy cow. But I agree. Yeah. I think 5 for like true good friends, like best friends, lifelong friends. I think 5's a good number. And funny enough, I know that your sister is one of yours. My sister is one of mine. And also my in-laws. Like those are my basically other 3 ride or dies. Like they're all
I think
related to
like my sister, like our sisters are just like our best friends. Like I wouldn't even call them a sister. Like they're all my best friends are my sisters. Like, but my sister is like,
legit.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, that kind of, I mean, truly, we kind of went over all these questions I had written down. Let's see. We literally, like, we have what has made and kept us such good friends? For me and Tanya, I think consistency, giving us like growing together and learning together.
Being able to talk about like our mental health and without judgment.
Yeah. I feel
because
as though
what people don't know is that growing up, there was no mental health. There was no depression. There was no anxiety. Like when we were kids, it was like, you're fine.
Yeah. And if you were diagnosed, it was like, oh, like my mom.
Yeah, they weren't even diagnosing us that young. But like, it's funny. My aunt was like, asked me, like, it was just like a couple of years ago. She was like, are you in therapy? And I was like, oh, I actually am. And she was like, that's great. And she was like, did they diagnose you as depressed? And I was like, actually, yeah, they have diagnosed me as depression. And she was like, you know, ever since you were a kid, I knew that you were depressed. And I was like, really? That's weird as fuck to say out loud. And I was like, thank you. And she was like, no. She's like, it was just something like, you were so sad. Like you were just always so sad. You were quiet. You would cry every time someone would leave a room. You had abandonment issues. Like, I don't know where that came from. Like, and she was like, but it just wasn't a thing when we were kids. Like you were not supposed to be depressed. So that you just weren't. And I was like, thank you for
like things
saying that. But then it's like but that's the thing. That's why nowadays it's so important to talk to your kids about it. Like, and the people who are our age now who still don't get it, it's like, I can't help you. Like, but truly. It's also like you and I, like what people don't know is like, there were times where like you and I did not talk for like months and it wasn't like we didn't do anything.
Yeah, nothing ever happened. Yeah.
But it was just like, we were going through those stages in our lives. Like, I think it was like after I left Portales and I went home, I was like just working and like taking care of my dad and like all this stuff. And like, I just like we were just kind of on our own paths and then we just kind of reconnected again and things were fine. So it's just like, like we were always like super, super close, but we made out an effort to always be in each other's lives.
Yeah. And I agree 100% about like the no judgment zone and the mental health thing, because truly when we were younger, my mom's been on antidepressants since I can remember. And my dad would always make snide comments like, well, your grandma did a bang up job on her. Like, he wouldn't tell me things, but it's like, it was very much the boomer, like, oh, don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. You just take your pills and you just do your therapy and silence and you don't talk about it.
Be quiet.
And here comes me and Paige. It's so funny thinking that my conservative parents, who are boomers, who grew up in that really don't talk about it, it never happened kind of thing, came out with two flaming liberals who are nasty women, and
bad bitches.
We are bad bitches, and we let everybody know I'm on Wellbutrin, I'm on Lexapro, I take Flexeril every day. I got anxiety, I got depression. Sometimes I have manic episodes. Like, what you want to know? It's just funny to me that they produced us, but I'm glad because
and I do think it, like, social media has such a big part in it because it was so in our face. Like, because we didn't have like MySpace or Facebook until junior college, right? Like after high school.
Yeah.
And then it became like very known that like you could Google stuff.
Oh yeah,
we didn't know you
could find out shit. Like, what am I dying of a heart attack? No, you're having a fucking panic attack.
Everything was just so visible for us, like when we were in college, and it made it easier. To talk about. So
yeah, I agree. That basically. My last question was: are you actively taking new friends, or are you Drake? No new friends.
I think I'm always down to meet new people. I love getting to know new people. I doesn't mean that they will be a close friend or a lifelong friend, but I think that meeting people is so exciting. There's so many different people in the world. I'm also like an introvert though, so it's scary to like invite new friends and like get them to be really close to you. So that's why I'm like, no best friends, but like new acquaintances are always fun.
Yeah, they're always a good thing. Yeah, I agree. And what's funny is that my extrovert self has become quite the introvert over the years.
We're introverted extroverts.
Yes. And I love meeting new people. And if I hit it off with you, I hit it off with you. That's great. But I mean, I'm not opposed to meeting new people, making new friends.
Yeah, new friends are always welcome. But
the bar set pretty high, and I don't put up a lot of bullshit. So be warned.
Okay.
Well, I think we covered friendship and how we're the fucking bomb.com. So
what's the matter with us? Nothing, because we got friends.
Nothing, because we're the best. Pew, 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 pew. But I love you very much.
I love you very much.
You're my best friend.
Besties for the resties.
I hope that we stay friends for the rest of our lives for a million trillion years, and then when we die, we're ghosts together, and we get to haunt people together, and we're together for eternity. So,
do you think that I would be a good ghost? I think I would be scared to scare people.
I think that you would be scared to scare people, but it would be like ironic. So you would scare the shit out of people because they would scare you, and you'd be like, ah, and they'd be like, oh my God. And then I'd be like in the background, like with my head in my hand, like, ah, I was trying to scare them.
Why were you decapitated?
I don't know. I just feel like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like.
Oh my God.
I want to go with the Casper movie image to where like you can change yourself. So if I want to pretend like I'm decapitated, then that's great. Not necessarily like the Harry Potter one where you are a ghost the way you die. So either way,
it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. So, I love you very much. Thank you for joining me again today for Wassamattayou. You're my bestie. I love you, and I will talk to you later.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.